haven't made an Avatar video in a while, but I just gotta come back for this, bro. Like, hating Korra makes absolutely no sense. And let me just get this out of the way. The Last Airbender is better. I'm gonna say that. You happy? The Last Airbender is better. It's fucking obvious. It does not make Korra bad. Korra is better than 90% of American cartoons, and it's a decent sequel to what's like probably one of the best TV shows ever made. You can't top the original series. I don't think there's not a lot of shows that even top the original series. I'm not talking about cartoons. I'm talking about TV shows, period. And a lot of people probably think, like, why would you even make a sequel to one of the best TV shows ever made? Money, duh. Like every huge TV show that has ever been made, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Dexter, they've all had sequels or spin-offs or whatever, because if you're a network, if you're a director, if you're a producer, you're gonna want more money. There were a ton of fans for Avatar back when it was releasing. I was one of them. Now, I was a little bit too young to be going to Comic-Con and seeing all those trailers and stuff like that, but it had a large fan base. It still does. It's probably even bigger at this point, if I'm being honest with you. Why would you not make a sequel? And there was a lot of things behind the scenes that were kind of hindering Korra from being great. One of the biggest issues was that Nickelodeon just didn't promote it. All they promoted was SpongeBob at the time. A lot of people don't know about that because we didn't really get a new load of Avatar fans until the pandemic, until they put it on Netflix. Bro, I'm one of the OG fans. I was watching that shit since when it first came out. I've heard some takes like, oh, we didn't want a Korra show, we wanted a series about the adult Avatar team. And bro, I'm not even gonna lie, and let's just be completely honest here. Like, whenever that adult Aang movie comes out, people aren't gonna like it. I ain't gonna lie. Like, anything that's not the original series is just gonna get hated on. It has, like, they have the same symptom as like the Star Wars fan base. Anything that's not like the original 6 movies, everybody's just gonna hate on it. Everything like surrounding it is just gonna get hate from like here on out. The Korra series is gonna continue to get hate for no reason. Seven Havens, when that comes out, everybody's gonna hate on that too. Like, I feel like one very smart thing they could have done would have been like a Tales of Ba Sing Se kind of story with we're like jumping around from character to character, and we're seeing like almost like a slice of life kind of thing. Like how it was in the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Because honestly, if you give us like a big conflict, they kind of just stomp anybody that comes across them. I'm being honest. Like his team is too OP. You know, we got the best Earthbender ever. We got the best Waterbender in that generation. Like, we got a Firebender that's been taught by the dragons. The last person who ever been taught by the dragons is literally the strongest Firebender that's not the Fire Lord. Iroh. These guys are just too stacked. We're also infected by a bunch of people that just, like, when it comes to talking about the series, I feel like people just get bored every now and then. So now we're starting to talk about Aang versus Korra. Who will win in a fight between Aang versus Korra? Or like, just who is the better Avatar? Like, they're both good for their own respective reasons, right? Like, Aang has his flaws, Korra has her flaws, you know, and they're both great avatars. I don't care what anybody says. Korra is a good avatar. Just because she fucks up and makes some mistakes, you know, like every other avatar before. And we're talking about Korra, like, everybody always spams this clip of her getting fucked up by Kuvira, about her being washed after not training for like 3 years. She had the poison inside of her for that long, for that amount of time, and she lost connection to Rava's spirit. You know, she's literally like nerfed. She's nerfed for a majority of the show, if I'm being honest with you. And the only time she was like at completely full power was like season 3, and she didn't really fight that much. And anytime that she did, she would fold with them. The only time where they had to put her on even ground was by poisoning her. Aang was getting styled on by Azula. If I'm being honest, Aang actually never beat Azula. Aang was getting embarrassed by Azula ever since he met her. He barely got away from Combustion Man. He almost got smashed by Boomy when they reunited. And we're going to use the excuse that, like, oh, Aang was just a kid. He was on the run learning the elements at a very short amount of time. Korra had her whole life being trained by the White Lotus, but she was also very ignorant. She was very sheltered. She didn't know a lot about the world. When it came to her bending abilities, yeah, she was like very talented, but it was also a very old style. She had to get accustomed to how new bending was. Even then, she picked up on new shit pretty quickly. She learned metal bending in like seconds. She learned air bending, like, when we really think about it, she really learned air bending very quickly after like being with Tenzin and stuff like that, it was only like a couple weeks. Like she just didn't pick it up as quickly as the other three elements. And if we're talking about villains, right? Everybody started talking about it because of like this tweet. Korra has some fire villains. Amon, Unalaq, Zahir, and Kuvira. They're all good. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about, but yeah, they were all good, right? Aang's bald ass would have been packed out day 2. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell y'all some truth here. I don't know if you guys actually watched the show, but Amon is, so we don't know if he's as strong as his father or like even stronger, but we can assume that he's about as strong as he's about as strong as Yakone, right? They could bend with his mind. Aang couldn't do anything versus Yakone until he went into the Avatar state. Korra just kind of powered through Amon's bloodbending by herself. She only had airbending and beat him. Aang was not able to do that. If you just look at the hits he was taking, Aang is literally made out of glass. He's having some trouble with Unalaq, but I feel like he beats him too, you know. And he would embarrass it here. He would. Up until the point where Zahir grants flight, and then he kind of just becomes annoying and starts moving around. But you know, and to be honest, Korra beats Zahir too. She would beat Zahir if she wasn't poisoned. that was the main thing that was giving her trouble. They had to find a way to make it a even fight, because without the poison, she destroys Zahir. Yeah, we get a generational psychic bloodbender, a OP, like a crazy waterbender fused with a god, literally fused with a god. The deadliest team of benders. They were a threat to the entire Earth Kingdom. Like probably the whole world. There was like some of the deadliest benders in that era, and a top tier like earth metal bender in control of a fucking Gundam. Like, and just like narratively, they all had their own motivations. They all just like they offered a lot more than Ozai did, right? But you could say that Ozai's personality probably didn't really matter, right? It was really just the journey to Ozai, like everything surrounding Aang's journey towards the Fire Lord and restoring balance to the world. And if we're being honest, Aang had the easier job. All he had to do was like pick up the pieces with the war and just beat the Fire Lord. That's really all he had to do. All the hard stuff is like what's surrounding, all the political stuff, all the war torn towns and shit, you know, reuniting the nations. That takes time and a lot of effort. That's something that a lot of the other avatars have to deal with when it comes to like real world politics and dealing with real world leaders. We see that with Korra. We see that in the novels with Kyoshi and Yang Chen. We don't really see that too often with Aang, aside from I think it was The Promise, where like he had to deal with some conflicts with Zuko. But that comic sucks, guys. So don't worry about that one. But yeah, like they both had to deal with their own stuff. And Aang, he's a good dude, but like he would have struggled with Korra's issues, and Korra would have struggled. Actually, no, it's more like a thing to where like they're polar opposites, right? Aang would have thrived when it comes to like connecting with people in Korra's era and just like dealing with people in that era, right? Whereas Korra would have been better in like a war era, right? So they're both each in times where they feel out of place, you know? And I feel like that's what makes both of their characters compelling. That's something that I feel like a lot of people just aren't talking about with them. And there was this other tweet, right, where it was just like this clip right here, where we're seeing these armor earthbending suit ups and shit like that. Like these were some cool moments in the Avatar series, and they say the creativeness that was added to bending styles in Avatar: Last Airbender is why Legend of Korra would never come close to it. These guys made bending feel like an art, an extension of one's body. Every bending style has specific body movements, whereas in Korra, it was just punching and kicking. And everybody was flaming this dude, including me, because I'm like, there was a lot of martial arts in that show. If there's one thing that Korra did right, there was a lot of writing issues with Korra, especially with season 2. One thing they did right was the bending in the animation. You cannot look at this show and tell me that they're not doing cool shit. So this guy says, mind you, there was a character born without arms in Legend of Korra that literally made bending an extension of her body, which is what bending is, an extension of your fucking body. Yeah, she was able to use like water bending around her arms and stuff like that, right? A very cool concept, dude. A very cool concept. And she was able to freeze the ends and like have them kind of act like arms. or act like hands. It was a very cool concept. You can't tell me that isn't like fucking creative. And they're like, no, what they meant is that in the original series, bending felt like a martial arts. No elements had the exact same move for the exact same. It had layers of creativity and thought. Meanwhile, Legend of Korra has punching and kicking, no art, no grace, no true movements. It's all lazy. And you know, like we're going to cherry pick this one scene in season 2. Well, Korra is literally just doing. In Legend of Korra, like bending is starting to become more centralized. We see people kind of like mixing together. There's certain things that you find in other bending styles that you could do in your bending art, right? So they're saying like no elements have the exact same move for the exact same, like I don't know what that means. I guess they're saying like one, if you see a water bending move, it's only for water bending and you can't use it for anything else, which if you saw the original, that's not fucking true.
All this 4 elements talk is sounding like Avatar stuff.
It is the combination of the 4 elements in one person that makes the Avatar so powerful. But it can make you more powerful too. You see, the technique I am about to teach you is one I learned by studying the waterbenders.
If you let the energy in your own body flow, the lightning will follow it. You turn your opponent's energy against them.
That's like waterbending. That's like waterbending. That's like waterbending.
Exactly. My uncle invented this technique himself by studying waterbenders.
I don't know what show y'all were watching, but that's literally the concept behind lightning redirection. It's a waterbending move. There's people that like say it. There's people that say it, they reiterate, oh, that looks like a waterbending move, and that's what it is. Because waterbending is the element of change. They mainly focus on the flow of chi. That's why the waterbender, Aang, was able to, in a sense, like super chi block someone by cutting off their chi, using a piece, like part of his blood bending, to turn all people's chi. And even when we look at the metal benders in Legend of Korra, like Suyin Beifong, right? She's using certain movements that you would see maybe like in air bending or water bending, and she's using it for her style. She's a more agile earth bender as opposed to her sister Lin. Even in the original, when you look at Zuko, he's using different styles of bending in his own style. Like towards the end, like he's using earth bending moves versus Azula. Like he's doing a lot of, or like versus his fight against Katara during the season 2 finale. Bro, I actually fucking watched this show, guys. Like they're doing the same movements. Like did you guys watch this show with your eyes closed? And look at this. We have Korra breaking down airbending to
okay.
Opal.
I've never been a teacher before, so we're in the same boat. You want to keep your elbows in, torso
Elbows
straight,
in. Look at that.
Skimming the ground. Why don't you try
This is
with
literally
me?
the same thing that Aang was doing in the original.
Wow, you're a natural.
You really think so? Thanks.
Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we talking about? Talking about this is not combat. Like, anyone who's ever trained martial arts, right? There's a lot of martial arts on the planet when it comes to kung fu, which is that's what Bend is based off of. Most kung fu isn't used for combat or can't be used for combat. Waterbending is literally based off of Tai Chi. That's not like a combat focused martial art. Like, bro, did we just forget about this scene? Like metal bending, it's just it's like a faster, more sharp version of earth bending, and they use like very quick movements. Like, come on, dude. Like, if there's one thing Korra did right, it was the fucking bending. I don't want to hear it. Right, no elements had the exact same. Like, look at this. Look at this, dude. Yeah, like, I just gotta assume that Avatar fans are just like, a majority of Avatar fans just like either don't watch the show, or they gotta be stupid. They gotta be dumb. Like, cause there's no way that we both watch the same show and we're just making these conclusions. Like, it's just crazy. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, I just don't I don't see how you can love Avatar as a franchise and just hate on Korra this much. Like, there's no way you like for me, this how I feel about it, right? I like Avatar as a whole. I don't like everything about Avatar, but like, I can't hate Korra and like love Aang's show, if that makes any sense, because I see them both as one story, right? And of course Korra isn't as good as the original show, but it's like, nigga, like, bro, almost nothing is as good as the original Avatar series. Like, there's almost no show that even tops or stands next to it when it comes to like consistent quality. So I just think a lot of criticism against Korra, a lot of the hate is very unfair, and the fact that it got the treatment that it did at Nickelodeon, while they just glazed SpongeBob over and over again, while they just like led the creators on to thinking that, okay, you guys only up for like one season, like you don't have to worry about any other, so they just make it for one season, and surprise, oh yeah, we're gonna order 2 more seasons. Now you gotta, like, now you're fucked. Now your story's all fucked up. You know, they had to deal with a lot of odds while making the show. Even still, they pushed out a decent product, a decent show that I could say is a solid 8 out of 10. Is better than most other cartoons. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below about this, and yeah, I will see you all later. Goodbye.